So, have you ever had that moment where you forgot to say I told you so to yourself, especially when you're watching movies? So, it's like you already knew the outcome of what would happen in this movie, but in the midst of the movie, you got lost in the sauce to where, you know, everything that happened surprised you, everything in between the lines, you know, just had you questioning your own prediction when it came to the end. So in this movie that I watched a while ago that I was reminded of as I was watching a different movie, um, the guy that so there was this guy and he was interpreting his dreams, and this didn't happen until a guy, a doctor um, brought it to his attention that he should start documenting his dreams and recording them. Um, in these dreams, it was this woman, this girl that he fantasized, he desired, he wanted to be with, but he was afraid to really um, talk to her in reality. So I'm not gonna tell you the whole movie, but so yeah, so he desired to be with this woman. He had a crush on her, but those thoughts of her and stuff like that, like every now and then, every so often, he'd have a dream about her. It wasn't nothing major, but I feel like this is the only way when you allow things to be rather than trying to take action upon them or acting upon them, you won't get no long term consequence or long term um, problem in the end that may affect you. Um, that may affect you, period. So that may affect you going forward in your life. Um, so he went to this doctor, and this doctor recommended that he focus longer on the situation. You know, ra- rather than allowing these dreams to, him having a glimpse of this woman through his dreams every so often, or hoping and desiring, rather than hoping and desiring to be with this woman or talk to this woman eventually, or to see this woman or to act on his passive ideas about this woman. He should, rather than do that, allow the idea to be passive, or allow her to be passive, then that but instead he should focus in all of his attention on this woman. And that's where he messed up. When I first thought about it, I'm just like, hold up. If he do this, then he's going to be focusing on the wrong things. His life is going in the right direction. You looking outside the box and you can really just pinpoint everything. Like, so if this happens, then this will happen. It's always an effect. You roll that ball, it's going to keep going, but it can stop. But if you go and you keep rolling that ball, then it's going to go again, and it's going to go again as long as you keep acting upon it. But if you choose not to act upon it, that ball is going to stop. So what I'm really thinking is just like, You got something good going in your life. Your mom invested in you and you're making the right decisions. You got a job. You're not spending that investment. You're saving that investment. And you're basically, you're flipping the money that she gave you. Like your life is going in the right direction. But then it's always, people like this that comes into your life that kind of just blow everything out of proportion. And now when it's blown out of proportion, you're the one that got to clean up the pieces. You got to clean up the mess that they helped you make, that they helped you make, and that's actually how the movie turned out in the end. He had to clean up everything. He didn't get to that point of cleaning up everything, but he was just coming to the realization that, oh yeah, this is something I'm gonna have to clean up now, you know? So he wrote about this girl and he prolonged it. He made something out of nothing and it went on longer than it actually had to be, you know. And then, you know, it's just a lot I gotta. So it turned out longer than it has to be, and I wasn't supposed, just like I wasn't supposed to be making this video too long, and it's just like that's all I wanted to say, but at the same time, it's not actually all that I wanted to say. Um, and it's basically what I'm doing right now. So it's just like you have time that you can sit on, and then there's time that you have that, time is always going. So it's just like we always worried about time, time, time. If I spend too much time on this, then what? You know, then life is going to keep going, and that's what happened to him. He spent too much time on this, and as his time that he spent on this affected his life in reality because he couldn't decipher between the two. So he wound up losing his job. But in the end, he did gain a relationship. And that's how our manifestations work, by our intentions. He was, the universe um, gave him what he actually desired. What you desired from this woman is the same thing is what you can get from this woman. What it was about this woman was lust, because the fact that you didn't know her, it was a lustful desire. But because of who you are inside and what you want, besides this lust, is this what this woman can offer. So he did gain another woman, but in the midst of the relationship with that woman, he already had something going. This book became a relationship because he started writing a book about the woman. He wrote a book about the woman that he desired, and now he has to break up with the relationship with the book. So because those dreams that he dreamt and he put in the book had became a, a nightmare. Now he's having nightmares about this dream of this woman. So it's a long lasting effect. Now he has to break up with that book, or in all of those ideas and all of those dreams that he planted in the back of his subconscious mind. He has to break up with them so that he can continue on with this woman in reality. You know, that's what I'm saying. The things that we manifest, the ideas that we manifest, the thoughts that we conjure up, the ideas, the creations that we make, these are our relationships as well. Not in a human form, but they're relationships, they're creations, and they came from somewhere. So before we can move on, we have to break up with our own doings. We have to break up with the idea of, oh yeah, I desired this woman. I desired to have this. I desire to have that. We have to break up with those ideas and those lustful wants to get what we truly need from God, to get our blessing, to receive our blessing from God, to receive what we are destined for. We have to break up with all of this, all of the other stuff that we have to break up with our own BS. Boom. um so I won't say it, like that's kind of disrespecting our creations, but we have to break up with our own desires, our own, manifestations of our own idea of what life would be like. We have to break up with that idea. Because like I said, that has become something in the back of our mind that will affect anything that we receive, any opportunity that we receive, any blessing that we receive going forward, because now we're going to always have that thought. So, yeah. Or have that idea and it's going to interfere with that. But that's what I was thinking. I'm just like, I knew it. The fact that this person came in and basically prolonged what was prolonged, he basically circled this in this person's life and said, focus here. You know, sometimes people can be a curse and a blessing. The fact that he came in and he prolonged the situation and he made something so tiny into something so huge. At first, yeah, I was having dreams of this girl. We was intimate in my dreams. That's all it was before. But this person made this one little dream into a nightmare. Something that he had to live through, something that he spent too much time on. He tried to fix something, but now he wrecked it. But in the end, guess what? He got in a relationship to fix everything. He got in a relationship with his daughter, the doctor's daughter. See how karma works? See how the universe works? You wreck somebody else's plan, and then you have to a sacrifice comes from your end. Now he's in a relationship with his daughter, but at the same time, that book is still there, interfering. Just like it's like her dad is still there, is still gonna be in the midst of a relationship as a metaphor to the book that he diagnosed him with, to interpret his dreams and take him off his medication and focus in on this book and put all of that attention on this book. His dream, that book was an idea of her father. So now it's just like, now that's in the middle of their relationship. Now he's having nightmares. And that is how karma works. That is how the universe works. Karma, that's karmic. The fact that he's with her daughter now, that's karmic. He had to give something, you know. So yeah. That's just something I want to talk about. It's just like a lot of messages, and it's in a lesson. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can get lessons out of these movies. Like, it's a lesson learning experience, you know. You just have to be careful. And this world was made to do just that, to make you trip and trip and trip and trip until you give up on getting up or give up on falling. You know, that's what this world has come to. And yeah, that's just what it is. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, and I will talk to y'all next time. Like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share at your own free will to stay here.